A spicy weekend of NHL hockey means an extra jam-packed Sunday waiver wire must-add episode on the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Let's get this paper.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Week 8, my fantasy fanatics. 2 months deep into the NHL season, and it's time to get very serious on the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast Sunday waiver wire must-adds. It's time to get the dub this week, my friends. So we'll dive into all of our must-add targets for the upcoming week. But first, we're showing love to the everydayers who continue to make us their first listen every single day and who have also made us the #1 sports podcast network in North America here at the Locked On Sports Podcast Network. Steele, shout out to everybody, but also shout out to FanDuel. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers, $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager hits. Check them out at FanDuel.com. Steele, I've got a number of exciting targets. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. I even got some honorable mentions. But as we do, I'm going to turn it over to you because I want to hear who you're looking at for Week 8. It's crunch time already.
Well, I've got a few honorable mentions myself, and it wouldn't be a Sunday waiver wire episode if I didn't come on here and talk about Matt Coronato once again. This guy needs to be spoken about, and I understand the hesitancy to stay away from the Calgary Flames, but Matt Coronato has really turned a new leaf since being a healthy scratch and bench just a few weeks ago. Sure. He's got 6 points in his last 4 games. He's on a 4-game goal streak right now. The Calgary Flames are a little bit better right now. They're producing a couple more wins here and there. Defensively, they've been okay, but Matt Coronato is one of the bright spotlights bringing some offense to this very abysmal team right now. So I had to come on here and give him an honorable mention. Obviously, Eric Comrie as well, who we just talked about recently on an episode. He's already up to 35% rostered, so he will continue to rise in that value as well. So jump all over him if you can. Let me get to my first 2 players, my first 2 actual players, if you don't mind, Flip, and then I'll throw it back over to you. I'm looking at the Buffalo Sabres. First off, Mattias Samuelsson on the blue line. He's playing and he's partnered up with Rasmus Dahlin. He's currently rostered at 16%. He's up 13% over the last week. And his play style is great right now. Defensive stopper. He's physical. He's got low risk, high coverage as a defender who can thrive on shutting down those cycles in the defensive zone. It's the production I'm looking at right now as well for Samuelsson. 5 goals, 6 assists on the season, 43 blocks. He's filling out all those peripherals. He's on pace for career highs in all categories. He's got 11 points in 19 games, 3 away from tying his career high from last season. He's a +7. He's got 25 hits, 43 blocks, and 24 shots on net, a career high shooting percentage of 20.8% right now. So he is thriving playing on that same pairing with Rasmus Dahlin right now. A few years ago when he signed that 7-year, $4.285 million contract, a lot of questions were being asked, like, why are you giving this guy that size of a term and that size of a contract based on not really providing or proving that he's capable of doing it? He's still 25 years old. He's doing it right now. I think he's a great streaming option alongside his teammate, Jason Zucker, who's got dual eligibility, 6% rostered. He was fighting an illness where he wasn't even able to, take down solid food. It was that bad for weeks on end. Right. He comes back into the lineup. And he has 4 points in 2 games. So this is a guy that just, he's consistent. He's reliable. You throw him anywhere in the lineup and he just gets the job done. He shoots the puck a ton as well. 3 games for the Buffalo Sabres this week: Pittsburgh Penguins, New Jersey Devils, and the Minnesota Wild. So I really like any of the, it feels like we always come on here and talk about a Buffalo Sabre every single week, whether it's Josh Doan or it's, one of these guys right here. I absolutely love these 2 guys this upcoming week.
This team is Jekyll and Hyde. And they have 17 goals scored over their last 3 games. And they come out and they play a really good game, OT win against the Red Wings, follow it up with a 5-1 win against Edmonton, then get pumped to a 6-piece to the Flames, come back and score 9. So it's all over the map. But what I am seeing, Steele, is the offense is coming to life. And it's because of some of these peripheral pieces that we've been talking about. Josh Doan caught honorable mention for me just because I don't need to come on here and talk about him again. I have spoken about Josh Doan, and now he's scoring once again. Noah Cates, same thing. Tough schedule for the Flyers. The Flyers are on a 4-game road trip. Bolts, Panthers, Devils, and Islanders. So I love Noah Cates, but again, those aren't the guys I'm looking at. However, you're in a bunch of deeper formats, and you got to get nitty-gritty. Josh Doan, Noah Cates, you know how I feel about them. Full stop. This is my exciting moment of the episode already. Beckett Sennecke is playing on the second line in Anaheim with Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlson. Full stop. That is a dangerous line that is producing elite offensive fantasy value. Right now, Beckett Sennecke ownership is on the rise, and in Fantrax 58, likely going to be tougher for you to get, but 11% on Fantrax, guys, this doesn't make any sense. Canucks, Kings, and Blackhawks for the Ducks this week, but then it gets even better. Blues, Mammoth, and Caps the following week. This is an add-in keep right now, Steele. Beckett Sennecke is a disgusting young player on the rise. 7 goals, 9 assists, up to 16 points. He's on a 4-game heater. Go out there. This is a must-add for me right now, Steele, and I'm going to be keeping him too. Don't forget, a 3rd overall draft pick, and he is just getting started.
Big win over the Vegas Golden Knights the other day as well. Mitch Marner coughing up the puck in the defensive zone. There's so much to love with this Anaheim Ducks team, and Beckett Sennecke is a bright spot as well. Definitely in the conversation for Calder Trophy alongside, Matthew Schaefer and Demidov and all those guys who are in their rookie season. He's been off to a great start. My third player that I want to talk about here, again, fan favorite from me, Matt Zuccarello of the Minnesota Wild. Can't come on here and not talk about Minnesota at all. This will be the highest rostered player that I talk about on today's episode. A lot of really good depth players that I'm looking at for this upcoming week. Rostered at 30% right now. 3 games this upcoming week: Chicago, Colorado, and Buffalo. So a really good schedule for them as well. They've really turned a corner too. After a really slow start defensively, not being able to hold down the fort as well as they could have. Getting some great goaltending from Wallstead and Gustafsson, who are battling together right now. But Zuccarello comes back in the lineup after missing pretty much the entire start of the season. He's got 2 games, a few games under his belt now. He's got 7 points in 7 games. This is not a player you're picking up for the peripherals. You look at what he does production-wise. He's an elite passer. He plays a heavy game east to west. He thrives on those controlled entries. And like I said, he delivers assist-heavy production, often with multi-point nights, because of the chemistry he's formed with Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, Marcus Johansson, Joel Eriksson in that top 6 group. So he's got a high expected assist per 60. He's got heavy power play usage, which the Minnesota Wild have a really good power play as well. Again, you're not going to get a ton of peripherals. He still shoots enough to avoid some of those dead categories where he can put up still 1 or 2 shots a game. But blocks, hits, shots even, they're not going to jump off the page with this player. It's really that offensive production, that power play point production that you're looking for Matt Zuccarello. And like I said, 3 games this upcoming week for Minnesota: Blackhawks, Avalanche, and the Sabres.
This situation up the middle here for Minnesota, this Danila Yurov kid, is also getting some looks here in the middle between Kaprizov and Zuccarello. And I think he's got 3 points in his last 3 games. Ice time on the rise, big time. This is just kind of catching my eye right now, but that might be a situation where you tap into him as well, Steele, because that in between Zook and Kaprizov, that's value to be had as well. Lot more targets to come up after the break. We will be here all week. On Wednesday's episode, we got special guest fantasy guru of the Score, Josh Wegman, joining us for a fantasy extraordinaire. So make sure you're tapped in the rest of the week. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Hockey season, it's here, baby, and nothing beats being at the rink for those opening games. Let's get real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on the boys. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. We've been recently using the Game Time app to grab seats for the Leafers. We've been all over this team, even though they're a mess. We do use Game Time to go see that garbage. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
And thank you so much for making Locked On Fantasy Hockey your first listen every single day. And thank you so much for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. It means so much to everyone who has joined here, and especially for Flip and I. So thank you so much for that. Flip, I'm going to throw it back over to you, though.
Please.
I've talked enough about some of my waiver wire targets. I need to hear more of your targets from your side of things. Who are you looking at next?
I absolutely love my list of players, and I really did try to serve up guys that are out there in all leagues, some more owned players. I got goalies to get to, Steele. I got a D-man. How about a rookie on the Vegas Golden Knights, Braden Bowman, who right now is getting rushes on the top line with Eichel and Barbashev. This is a kid that I actually saw play at Guelph. He tore up the OHL for the Guelph Storm for a number of years. He's performed at every level he has played at. Not a big name. Very kind of a low-key player that does all the little things right, Steele. Unheralded, 4 goals already on the season. Ice time up, top line deployment. I don't really need to sell you on much more. How about top power play unit with Hertl, Marner, Eichel, and Dorofeyev? 6% on Yahoo, 26 on Fantrax. And let me put the cherry on this for you guys, because you'll thank me later on this one. The Knights are going to turn it around, and they're going to have a big week now. Mammoth, Habs, Sens, Sharks. I know the Sharks have been good. Those are 4 very advantageous spots for this Vegas offense. Braden Bowman, top line, top power play unit. Boom, bap. That's a good ad for this week.
Boom, bap. Good ad for this week. Absolutely love that, Flip. I love how fired up you are about some of these must-adds targets for Week 8 matchups. A must-add in my mind is Jonathan Quick this upcoming week. The Rangers have 4 games this week, and I know he just played that game against the Utah Mammoth where they lost 3-2, but I could honestly see him getting right back in the cage Monday against the St. Louis Blues. So when I look at Jonathan Quick and what he's been able to do for this New York Rangers team, he has given this organization a chance to win every single night he is in that blue paint. Rostered at 12% right now. He has a .944 save percentage, a 1.69 goals against average. He hasn't had a game under a .912 save percentage all season long. He's been that good. So I look at what he's been able to accomplish so far this season in the 6 games he's played. 4 games, like I said, for the New York Rangers. I could see him getting the Monday game against the St. Louis Blues and then following it up later in the week against the Boston Bruins. He's going to get 1 game at least, but I expect him to get 2 just because of how tough the schedule is for the New York Rangers, just to maybe give Igor Shesterkin a lighter load against Carolina and Tampa Bay potentially. But every single time he's in the blue paint, he gives them a chance to win. His aggressive, battle-heavy style, he excels in tight in those scramble situations. The Rangers' defense is really good as well, so that just gives him a really high win potential as it is. I like Jonathan Quick this upcoming week and what he's able to do.
I absolutely love that you're talking about goaltenders, because we've covered at length what it has been for not only you and I, but for many GMs out there in the fantasy hockey realm this season to try and handle the goalie graveyard that has been this season. So I like that you're mentioning this player. I've got 2 veteran goaltenders of my own that I'd like to mention, Steele. And kudos to you, because I know still at times he has let in a couple of muffins, but Cam Talbot has looked real solid. And the John Gibson situation is not pretty. He has not played good hockey. And Cam Talbot, over his last 5 starts, Steele, is 4-1, and he's rocking a save percentage north of .925. He's looking like the guy right now. And right now, 22% on Yahoo, available. 47 on Fantrax, a little tougher. But how about this? Preds, Bruins, Lightning, and Devils. There's a back-to-back in there, so he's definitely getting at least a couple of starts this week. Mixed bag of opponents there, but I like Cam Talbot. The Red Wings have looked real good. That's a solid option. My second veteran option in the cage before I turn it back to you, Casey DeSmith. 4 games for the Dallas Stars this week. Kraken on the back-to-back with the Oilers, so he's getting at least one good start here against a team that the Dallas Stars can very much beat here in the Kraken or the Mammoth. Sends Oilers, all of those teams. I like the matchup for the Dallas Stars. 16% on Yahoo for DeSmith, 23 on Fantrax, 917 save percentage, and he's 4-1-2 this year, Steele. These are two good stream options this week, and I like these veteran goaltending options, even though it's been tricky out there.
Yeah, great options for this upcoming week, especially with teams that have 4 games over the next 7 days. Also, speaking of the Dallas Stars, this is a little bit of a side note, but I don't know if you caught that Flames Stars game, but Mikko Rantanen with another dirty hit from behind.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing. I honestly, he might end up with a suspension after this one. He should be suspended for at least 1 or 2 games here. But just to mention as well, that dirty hit from behind was against Matt Coronato. So I believe he was leaking blood a little bit. I also think he returned to the game. So he should be okay to go for this upcoming week. But again, just scary situation. Mikko Rantanen could also potentially be suspended. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on any news for that. I got 2 players, and then we'll get to break, and then we'll wrap it up with some of your last must-adds for this upcoming week. They both come from the Colorado Avalanche for me, and I'm really trying to focus heavy on some defensemen over the next couple of days too. So number 1 is Sam Malinski, and number 2 is Josh Manson, both from the Colorado Avalanche. Really good options here if you're in a very deep leagues. Malinski rostered at 14%. He's got 11 points on the season so far in 21 games. He's a plus 13. He's rock solid defensively, 36 shots on net. And when I look at his game style so far this season, obviously being able to play with the likes of, Samuel Girard, Brent Burns, Josh Manson at times, just kind of figuring out from all these veteran players in the league who have been here for, a long time now. And what he's able to do with his game, he's an offensive puck mover. He's excellent in transitional speed and breakout passing from defensive zone into the neutral zone. He just generates quiet assist upside right now, especially when he's paired with Colorado's elite forwards or some of those elite defensemen that I just mentioned. He's putting up shots every single game, 1 to 3 shots per game right now. He has quarterback that second power play unit at times, which provides more value to him. So I like Sam Malinski alongside Josh Manson. So these are 2 great defensemen, but for different value reasons. Malinski can provide offensive production along with some quieter peripherals. Josh Manson, very quiet offensive production, but he provides all of those peripherals you're looking for. He's heavy, physical shutdown defense where he thrives in those board battles. He puts his body on the line, with elite hits and blocks every single game, anywhere ranging from 2 to 4 blocks a game, 2 to 4 hits a game. So he's a monster value in banger leagues. Occasionally he'll contribute with those goals and assists, but it's mostly those peripherals like I mentioned. He plays upwards of 20 minutes of average ice time. 3 games this week: San Jose Sharks, Minnesota Wild, and the Montreal Canadiens. So very advantageous schedule for the Avalanche too this upcoming week. And I really like those 2 players, especially if you're in one of those deeper leagues and need some help on the blue line.
And what have we been saying? Get yourself a piece of the Colorado Avalanche.
Yes, exactly.
Great dubs and cooking, looking like they're not slowing down now, Steele. 87 goals for, also top of the table, 8 ahead of the juggernaut Ducks. So have a look at what's going on in Colorado, and I'll do that for you right after the break with a veteran forward ad, and I got one more blue liner that's getting power play deployment on the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steele.
Absolutely love it. We're bringing all the heat for week 8 must-add waiver wire targets. After the break, we'll get to them. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And once again, thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen. Monday through Friday, or Sunday through Thursday is what I should say with these must-add waiver wire target episodes. Flip over to you, my friend. The last remaining targets you have for week 8.
I think both of these players have caught regular waiver wire mentions, and they're really solid stream options year in and year out. But right now, Brock Nelson serving up 12 points in 21 games, ice time on the rise deal for a guy who's going to be 35 years old. He's up to almost 19 minutes of ice time per night and playing really valuable minutes for this Colorado Avalanche team. And we just spoke about all the reasons why you want a piece of this team. He's playing with Marty Necas, and he's still getting some look on that second power play unit that has Brent Burns turning back the clock and a guy in Ross Colton and Devon Taves that still serve value as well. So when I look at this Colorado Avalanche team, and yeah, it's going to be really hard to get all those really sexy pieces, you definitely need to do what you can to get the ones that are available. 36% on Yahoo, 50% on Fantrax. They got the Sharks, Wild, and Habs this week, like you mentioned. Brock Nelson, almost set your watch to him steady as she goes for 50 to 60 point steal. He's been doing it his whole career, and now he's on the offensive juggernaut Avs. Last one, Darren Raddysh, 9% on Yahoo, 36 on Fantrax. I know this is your boy. You have mentioned him regularly, and this is a player. Brock Nelson's more of a name. The ownership is definitely higher. He's on a much sexier offensive team, at least right now. However, don't sleep on the Bolts. And they got the Flyers, Flames, Red Wings, and Rangers. That's a pretty great week for what's going on with Tampa. Darren Raddysh, before I finish selling you on him, Steele, I know you're sold, but I hope some of our listeners out there are turning around right now. 2 goals, 7 assists, 10 penalty minutes. Ice time still hovering around 18, but the last couple of games, 24, 27, 22. He's getting more deployment, and guess where? On the top power play unit in Tampa Bay. And I think all I really need to say is, yeah, sure, Tampa has kind of been a little bit up and down at times this year, and Braden Point has been a disappointment. Gensel, Point, Kucherov, and Darren Raddysh, get this player on your team this week, at least while he's putting up points.
We're providing all those blue line beasts for week 8. I love that we're targeting a lot of defensemen. Usually we're very offensive heavy when it comes to our must adds, but I love the fact that we're all over the map here with goaltenders, great veteran goaltenders, a lot of great depth on the blue line, and some veteran presence offensively. Those are the week 8 matchup must adds if you're looking to win your fantasy hockey leagues. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to smash that subscribe button, the follow button, leave a 5-star review for your boys here, Livingstone and Steele Rodin. Obviously, for your second listen, you got to go check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night, until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. You can get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. And we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Peace.